All right, guys, let's talk about the fallacy in selecting cannabis flower based on THC percentages. The reason why this is a fallacy is because THC percentages have always been a tall tale of quality. This is not entirely true. You can always have something that'll test at a high cannabinoid THC percentage and in fact be a shitty product in the end because it has no terpenoids in it. So this has a lot of variables. You know, THC percentages are not always accurate. All labs do things differently. Some have different SOPs, some test differently, some collect samples differently. It all has variables. You could take a product and give it to this lab, take that same product and give it to this lab, and have two different outcomes altogether. That's because this lab does it this way and this lab does it that way. This lab tested it at 30%, while this lab tested it at 25%. Another thing that you can keep in mind is a lot of states regulate a plus minus. So that means it's a give or take percentage. Some states regulate 3%, some states regulate 5%. That means when you get lab results back and it says 32% plus or minus 5%, that means it's give or take. We tested it at 32%, but it's not that accurate. It's give or take 5%. It may be 5% lower, it may be 5% higher. So what companies do, because everybody across the world thinks THC percentage means high quality, they're gonna advertise and promote the highest THC percentages. So if me being a businessman and my producing comes out and this THC plant tested at 30% plus or minus 5%, I'm going to advertise it from a business perspective at 35% because I can legally do that. It may be 35%, but then again, it may be 25%. But you're not going to know that. You're going to go into the shop and you're going to see 35% THC, here are the lab results or whatever, and you're going to purchase that flower strictly based off of those numbers. You can't do that, guys. You need to look at the entire compounds and what's in the plant or the flower altogether to really determine its quality. While it is good to reference those numbers and it is good to know that the cannabis has a higher THC percentage, that number is not totally accurate and it is not a great way to really select your medicine. The way the plant is or the way the flower is altogether, the way it smells, the way it looks, and the cannabinoid percentages, all of those altogether, if it has a good roundabout number for every single one of those, then select that flower. Your nose is going to tell you more than what that number is going to tell you. If you have a cannabis flower that smells great, it smells exactly like it should, it has a nice terpenoid profile on it, most flower is going to test anywhere from a little bit under 1% terpenoids to 8% terpenoids, depending on the strain or the genetics and how well it's grown. A lot of people don't reach that 8% mark. Average, I see most people with 3 to 4% terpenoids, which is still good. It's really good. But a lot of people have a hard time even meeting those numbers. Your nose is going to tell you more than what the THC or cannabinoid percentage is going to tell you. Trust your instincts, trust your nose knows. So with that being said, guys, don't focus strictly on THC percentages. Don't believe companies who are advertising THC percentages, because that right there is just a marketing gimmick. It's a scheme. It's a business perspective. These people know that you're looking for this high number, so they know if we advertise this, you're going to walk in here and you're going to buy it without any question or any doubt, strictly because they know that's what you're looking for as a consumer. So be a smarter consumer, guys. Don't go strictly based off THC percentages. Educate people. If you see somebody walk into a shop next to you and they're asking THC percentages, just say, hey man, just to let you know, don't look at that number. Smell the flower first and see how its terpenes are on it, and that'll give you a better idea if it'll work for you or not. Because a lot of people just assume, hey, high THC means it's going to get me fucked up. And that's not necessarily true at all, guys. So keep that in mind anytime you see a company advertising THC percentages or you see high THC percentages listed on labels or test results or anything like that. Look at everything else all together and make your determination based on terpenoids and cannabinoids together. And then if you can look at the product and smell the product, make your determination based on the way it looks and the way it smells. The way it looks and the way it smells will tell you a hell of a lot more than anything, guys. Be mindful, be selective, and smoke good. Peace.